Guys, it's wonderful to be in conversation around advancing that digital workforce. You know, there's a lot of people right now trying to find their future in tech, and I'm really curious to get your opinion on that whole conversation. Of course, I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force1. So why don't you guys introduce yourself and tell us what you do? Go ahead.
Steve Taylor. I'm co-owner and executive vice president of Keyin College.
Great, and yourself?
I'm also Steve Taylor. Emad Rizkala, CEO of BlueDrop.
Great. So, fellas, when we talk about that digital transformation, Emad, what does that look like to you? When we say those words, you guys being around the block like yourself, what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, when I was new to the business, there was this great line we used to use: "Distance is dead." And that was really about, in terms of being a business operating our headquarters here in Newfoundland, Labrador, you know, many years ago, actually for most of the 500 years this place has been in business, distance was a big barrier. And digital transformation now means accessing services and learning and all kinds of things immediately on demand. And it's really kind of propping up the fourth industrial revolution. So the way that people work is profoundly impacted by that. And obviously we're one of the companies that are helping organizations to respond to that.
You know, and along that vein, of course, that requires a level of digital literacy, if I may. So talk to me a little bit about that, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, the skill sets that are required today to be effective in the workforce are so different than they were even 5 years ago, and will be markedly different than what they will be in another 5 years. So our job as a college here is really to make sure that we stay abreast of what those new skill sets are, and to make sure that we provide pathways for companies like BlueDrop to be able to continue to upskill so they can maintain that competitive advantage. And it's a very broad range of skill sets. It's everything from understanding how to use Word and Excel, some of those kind of fundamental programs, all the way through to artificial intelligence and some of the more cutting edge things. And so that's one of the things that we're developing really is a laddering system, a subway system where you have an entry point, if you have low digital literacy, to be able to excel then all the way through to the upper echelons of where digital literacy is today and to stay current as it continues to evolve.
Steve, staying on that vein on digital literacy, if I could, you know, creative ways to approach that, shorter courses. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way we consume information as a society has, again, changed markedly in the last few years, right? So TikTok, Snapchat, these things that are smaller format, our attention span is shrinking. There's a lot more things competing for it. So one of the things we realized is that we needed to start to serve up learning in smaller chunks. And micro-credentials are, 20 to 40 hour duration courses really focused in on a specific skill set or related skill sets. So it allows you to adopt it while you're at work, while you're in school, while you're doing all these other things. So it's a beautiful marriage between staying current with technology while also being able to, work in the job that you're doing and advance your career.
You know, and Emad, of course, on the industry side, you got to make sure these guys get it right. Everybody's got to be in the conversation here to make sure that you're meeting the industry needs. What are your thoughts on the micro-credentialing approach?
Well, it's critical. When we see that in a lot of our governmental clients, there's a big push on micro-credentials as a way to, be competitive as a region, be competitive as a country, and so on. Because, we have this saying at BlueDrop, relevance used to be a destination, and now it's a journey. So, when I graduated from mechanical engineering, 31 years ago, almost 32 years ago, basically my credential was my ticket, and it was good for life. And now, within a couple of years, it doesn't mean anything anymore. If you haven't continuously learned and improved and advanced your skills, you're not relevant.
Right.
So given that relevance is now a journey, micro-credentials is a big part of that tapestry, because you can't go back and do another degree every couple of years, right?
Right, yeah.
And as long as it's supported and pulled from industry rather than pushed from academia, then I think there's a huge demand for it. So you're right on the money there.
It sounds like a wonderful collaboration. Everybody's in the conversation together. And so, really what we're talking about here is kind of upskilling a workforce. Am I right to say that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So if I were to, look at this micro-credentialing approach, who is it ideally meant for? Who should be knocking down the door for something like this?
The shorter list would be who shouldn't, to be honest with you. Not to be glib, but really it's aimed at working professionals. Look, every company today is a technology company. right? It didn't used to be that way. You could be a smaller company where tech wasn't a big part of that. Even the smallest mom and pop shops these days will have an e-commerce component, online banking, all of those things, right? And so really it's for everyone that's in the workforce right now, but particularly when you're focused on companies that maybe deal in tech, the healthcare space, energy sector, all absolutely perfectly targeted for people that are working in those sectors.
Yeah, and how do people, like, how do they tap into that? How do they get access to this kind of stuff?
Well, we've been fortunate that working with TechNL and the Government of Canada, we were able to launch the Find Your Future in Tech program. So for anyone watching, if they simply point their phones at that QR code, they can get a link to go right through the registration. Yeah. It's all free, all funded by this project. So there's never been a better time to invest in your digital literacy and digital skill sets. The investment that the Government of Canada is making in TechNL and Keyin and our partners like BlueDrop will benefit this province and therefore this country for decades to come. So it's a really, really exciting time right now.
It sounds like a wonderful collaboration of government, industry, academia, all
Absolutely.
working together for the results, better results of all. You know, I see what you do, and I'm seeing how you do it. But the big question that I always ask people, and I'm going to leave it with you, and you can end this conversation with it. But you guys are both leaders in this community here. You're both leaders in this space. So what's your why? Why do you do this kind of stuff? Why do you get up in the morning, say, I want to make an impact in this space?
Well, when we started almost 32 years ago, I'm still having problems saying 32 years ago. I got to say it. You can do it. 32 years ago, you know, there wasn't really a technology industry, and I came here as an immigrant kid. I loved this place, and I wanted to stay and try to, you know, make a difference. And I couldn't get a job, so we started this company sort of by accident. But I guess the ability to show that now that distance is dead, now that you can do some of the most amazing things in products and services and leverage technology, you can export it all over the world. You don't have to put it on a plane. So that really turned me on, the fact that we could do that. And obviously there's a massive proliferation and growth in the technology space right now. So I just love the fact that we can live here, which is one of the best places, I think, in the world to live. Absolutely. And export these technologies and services. And you know, the other thing is that when I look at the people, both the people we serve, we work a lot we work in defense and aerospace, which, you know, is obviously very important that Canada be competitive and have the best solutions, and we're involved in training there, simulation and courseware development, and that kind of thing. And then on the other side, we work in unemployment systems, we work with credential management, we try to help people be employable. So on both sides, I think we're making a difference. And certainly then when I look back to our workforce, that's also extremely exciting, because we have people here that 30 years ago would have to go to Toronto or LA to do the kinds of projects we do, and they love being able to do it right here. So those are all like win-win-win on all sides. So I still love what I do. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to add a really important point too, or important to me, which is, and I don't know if I've shared this with you before but so it wasn't quite 32 years ago, but it's getting on 30 years now. So giving back is really important, right? So I still think of us as a young buck sometimes, even though we're moving to the elders of the community right now. But when I started at first in engineering, Emad was one of the people that came in and spoke to my engineering class and talked about entrepreneurship. So you were actually a strong inspiration for me to take that entrepreneurial path. So decades later, for us to be able to be here and to collaborate in this way is special, and it's important, and it's how the momentum continues to build in this province. So this is our way of not only continuing to build our own companies, but giving back. There's another generation that's coming through to us. That's why we do what we do, and to be able to do with partners that were inspirations for us. And he went to a high school with my business partner, so long history here in Newfoundland. I think that's a phenomenal thing. That's what gets us up in the morning at Keyin to continue to do what we do.
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to be in conversation with you, and thank you for your leadership in this area, and thank you for helping lift Newfoundland and Labrador up to a place that it should be, and it will continue to be. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.